So then, what did we learn about Marco Muzzo during his parole board hearing? Well, turns out this individual who slaughtered 4 people is even more of an entitled idiot than we initially gave him credit for. Can anyone ever erase from their minds this image of the Neville-Lake children? 9-year-old Daniel, 5-year-old Harrison, 2-year-old Millie, all killed in 2015 along with their 65-year-old grandfather, Gary Neville. It's hard not to shed a tear looking at that photo. It's beyond my pay grade to even imagine the pain the parents surely endure on a daily basis to this day. These deaths were caused by Marco Muzzo, the entitled son of a billionaire family. He was returning home from a bachelor party. He had almost 3 times the legal limit of alcohol in his blood when he hopped in his SUV, blew through a stop sign, and careened into the minivan containing the 4 doomed members of the Neville-Lake family. There was an enormous amount of attention on the Muzzo trial given the ages of the victims, and so it was that in 2016, Muzzo was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. That was a new benchmark for an impaired driving penalty in Canada, if you can believe it, even though Muzzo's sentence works out to just 2 years and 6 months for each life he took. But recently, Muzzo applied to receive full day parole just 3 years after this heinous act took place. And in the days prior to the parole board hearing, oh, the bleeding heart talking heads who comprise the rank and file of the media party seemed to have nothing but sympathy for Muzzo. Typical talking points were locking him up forever. Well, that would never bring back the members of the Neville-Lake family that had been killed. And of course, the fact that Mr. Muzzo surely lives with the crushing guilt of what he did every minute of every day. Oh, really? Because what these bleeding heart media talking heads didn't know, what none of us knew until after the fact, were shocking details that emerged at the parole board hearing. Despite killing 4 people, despite being incarcerated for a few years, despite being cruelly separated from his precious Ferrari, Marco Muzzo still doesn't get it. Which is to say, he actually told the parole board he doesn't have a problem with booze. He told them point blank that it would take, quote, 8 or 9 drinks, end quote, for him to get impaired. Ah, that a boy, Marco. As long as you don't go past 7 shots of tequila, you're still able to adroitly navigate the highways and byways of our great dominion. Oh, and we learned some new details about this gentleman as well. Details that somehow his lawyers were able to suppress at his criminal trial, which is this: Muzzo has a long history of getting pissed drunk and violent. He had previously been jailed for public intoxication. On one occasion, he got into a fistfight with a bouncer at a strip club. On another occasion, he tried to kick out the windows of a police cruiser that was containing him. Oh, and he's also a shite driver too, accumulating 10 tickets over a dozen years. Obviously, this guy received numerous breaks from the cops because he should have been dinged with enough demerit points to have his driver's license suspended. But that's the thing, isn't it? Little baby Muzzo has enjoyed a full life of entitlement and privilege. He's always been given a 2nd and 4th and 8th and 10th chance. Yet, thankfully, his luck ran out in Gravenhurst at his parole board hearing because he was either too entitled or too stupid to play the game and admit that he's an alcoholic and that he needs help with his addiction. And so it was that parole board member Kevin Corcoran told Muzzo, quote, "You sabotaged your progress by underestimating the seriousness of your problem," end quote. Kudos to this parole board for seeing through this shameless stooge. While most were predicting that the 32-year-old Muzzo was going to skate, he is now being sent back to the Beaver Creek Minimum Security Prison, where he'll have to wait another year before he can apply for parole again. Wonder if another 12 months in the slammer will lead to this old dog learning some new tricks once he secures another parole board hearing in 2019. And if anyone thinks it's a tad harsh for Marco to do some more time behind bars, please, please just take another look at this photo of the Neville-Lake kids. Don't know about you folks, but this image makes me want to see Mr. Muzzo rot behind bars for the rest of his miserable life. And if you think that's a tad vindictive on my behalf, that's okay. In Marco Muzzo's case, revenge as opposed to rehabilitation works just fine for me. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, the Rebel has a new app. Please download that app and take the Rebel with you wherever you go.